So I'm back with one more fundamental strategy in our series of Be Your Own Fund Manager. Now today we will be discussing about a strategy wherein all the underlying companies would enjoy some kind of a monopoly, which means they will either have no competition or very less competitions in its core business. We will also try and understand how does a company become a market leader and how does it is able to maintain that position for long. We will also try and understand that how does a company demand a lion's share in the markets on its core business. Now to understand this strategy in depth and practice it for creating your own portfolio, please watch the video till the end. Welcome back. My name is Sumit Chanda and you are watching another episode of Market Minds. Now as I said, we will be discussing about a monopolistic strategy which can also be termed as a moat strategy. Now the term moat has been popularized by one of the greatest investors of all time, Mr. Warren Buffett. Now let's understand what's the meaning of the term moat. So if you know castles, or maybe for better understanding in Indian terms, let's talk about forts. So I'm sure many of you would have visited multiple forts across the country. But in some forts you would have seen there's a hollow area between the fort and the land. Now generally this hollow area is covered with water, and in earlier times there used to be even crocodiles in it. Now what are these things? So the hollow area is actually protecting the fort from outside world. Now in business language, this hollow area is basically a boundary between the company and its competition. So the company enjoys some kind of a USP or edge over its competition, and the moat is practically protecting it. There are few things in moat while considering a moat strategy. Now first of all, a moat strategy is always a fundamental strategy. Secondly, it always looks at a comparative approach, not a standalone approach. So if you are researching about a company, you should always look at it from its competition standpoint. How much edge it has over its competition rather than just looking at it on a standalone basis. Secondly, if you are looking the books of the company, you should always look at how fast it is able to scale and how well it is able to sustain the growth. Just to give you an analogy, growing a business to 10% year on year is not that difficult a task, but then growing at 20% year on year or even more is a really big task. And at the same time, maintaining that pace is a humongous effort, I would say. Lastly, while investing, you should always look at that extra thing in that particular company, that USP over all its competition. Now these are some of the fundamental characteristics of a moat portfolio. We will eventually now understand what are the key parameters that you should look at before you start building your own moat portfolio. We will also see certain examples with each parameters. Now if you want to create your own portfolio using the moat strategy, there are few parameters and features that you need to understand while selecting a stock. Now, none of these parameters are any of the fundamental parameters. These are all qualitative factors that you have to look before identifying a company or while identifying a company. Now, what are these fundamental or qualitative parameters? Starting with market share. So, whenever you enter a particular sector or a company to research, always look at it from this perspective, that how much of market share does this company enjoys over all of its competition. Now, preferably the market share of a moat company should be at least more than 40% of rest of its competition, which means at least 40% of the market that the business is addressing should be with this company. Now there are a few classic examples, starting with Maruti Suzuki. Now in the small car segment, it practically enjoys a lion's share. Similarly, if you look at Hero MotoCorp, if you look at the entry-level two-wheeler segment, it's being completely dominated by Hero. Second would be economies of scale. Now, this simply means what is the size of the company and what is its capability in terms of its purchasing power and manage things. Let's understand this using an example. So if we talk about DMart, now that is a company using its sheer purchasing power and capital. It is able to procure all its raw materials, all its finished goods at a much cheaper rate than any of its competition or peers out in the market. And with an efficient operational process in place, it is able to pass on these lesser prices as discounts to its consumers, eventually bringing more and more people to its shops. So that's the power of economies of scale. When you have more to spend and an efficient process, you can practically become a market leader, which a DMart enjoys today. Third would be brand moat. Now this simply talks about the brand value of the products of the company. Now let's understand this also using an example. So we all know what is a Maggi. Maggi belongs to Nestle. Similarly, we know Fevicol. It belongs to Pidilite. Now we all know Asian Paints. Now there are no examples, it's paints. Then it's Colgate. It belongs to Colgate Palmolive. So now these are all certain brands that we are used to consume in our day-to-day life. We have got a brand affinity towards these products, eventually pushing the prices and the quality of these companies higher. Now the fourth point is patent moat. Now this is not a very common or a regular thing in Indian stocks, but if you actually look at global stocks, most of the companies in the US, they bet a lot on the patent. Now patent is nothing but what additional technology or what additional formula does one company has over its competition, over its peers. What is that one single thing that this company knows which none of the other companies knows? Classic example again from the US space, I would say Tesla. Now Tesla came up with electric vehicles way before any of its competition, and it enjoyed that lion's share even till date. Fifth and the last point is deep pocket moats, or you can also call them as balance sheet moats. Now these are typically those companies with really deep pockets. Now these companies can practically start, enter, disrupt any market segments across any products. Now simply there is a philosophy that raising debts on their current businesses and entering into a new company, starting a new sub company, or getting into a new product and completely disrupt it. One of the classic cases is Reliance Jio. Now Reliance Industries was never into telecom or related activities, but all of a sudden it came out with Jio and it practically captured the entire market. Now if you look at Jio today, it actually enjoys that lion's share in the telecom segment. That's what is called deep pocket moat. Now like every other strategy, even the moat strategy has its own limitations. Starting with, it only will help you to create a long-term portfolio. If you're trying to create a portfolio for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, or even 3 years, this strategy might not help you. Secondly, since it looks at a long history and performance of the stocks, so the IPOs and the newly listed companies in the last 1-2 years are practically completely out of it. Thirdly, it does not consider any change of business dynamics. So any new regulations which have come, which might give a boost to certain other companies which do not fall under a moat category, but then they still can perform. So it does not look at those companies. Now, as we always see, few companies which qualifies that particular strategy, will definitely look at 5 companies which can potentially qualify in the moat strategy, starting with Reliance Industries. So over the last 5 years, if you look at its performance, it has delivered more than 400% absolute returns. Followed by Asian Paints, which has surged by more than 175% returns over the last 5 years. Followed by Pidilite, which has surged by more than 240% in the last 5 years. And DMart, which has delivered more than 650% since the time it came as an IPO. And lastly, Nestle, which has given an absolute delivery of 180% over the last 5 years. So again, as I'm saying, these are few companies. There can be many other companies within a moat strategy which might or might not have delivered similar kind of returns. But it is absolutely up to you to go back, do your research, try and come out with certain moat stocks, build your own paper portfolio before actually investing your hard-earned money. So So I hope you liked the strategy for today. Please like and comment, and also mention any specific topics that you want us to cover. We will definitely come out with a video on that. Thank you so much.